Hi, I'm Kate Tisdale, and today I'll be talking about communicating intrapersonally, the stranger inside us. Who is that girl I see staring straight back at me? Why won't my reflection show who I am inside? I mean, Mulan said it better, but you can't deny that we've all taken time to reflect on ourselves and see if who we are matches up with what we see on the outside. This is because a person forms their personality by being self-aware. Knowing oneself is highly beneficial and will allow for a person to actually change both their own perceptions of themselves and others' perceptions of the person. And though we'll probably never fully understand our true hidden self, we can expand our other areas and shrink our hidden self immensely. The more self-aware you are as a person, the better you'll be able to conduct yourself and succeed in relational and conversational areas of life. To understand the full scope of this theory, we must first examine self-consciousness, then intrapersonal communications, and finally the impact of interactions with other people. So what on earth is self-consciousness? The Sage Research Institution describes it as an undue awareness of oneself, one's appearance, or one's actions, as well as the quality of being carried out deliberately and with full awareness, especially in an affected way. Basically, self-consciousness is self-awareness and how well we pay attention to it. David Simon says that the concept of self-consciousness has been around for thousands of years, so no, it's not a relatively new topic. The reason that self-consciousness is so important, though, is because it is the foundation of our intrapersonal relationships. Speaking of intrapersonal relationships, what are those? And why are they important? Well, Sage Research defines them as how we communicate with and see ourselves. Do you ever catch yourself talking to yourself when you're home alone or having a full-on conversation inside your head? That's intrapersonal communication. And we as humans act accordingly based on how we see ourselves. A study titled Communication Theory found if we change our perception of ourselves, we can actually subconsciously change our actions. That's why the intrapersonal relationship or connection is one of the most valuable relationships a human can have. So once we master intrapersonal relationships, how do our relationships with other people get affected? Well, we can present ourselves differently, but in order to fully understand, we have to first examine Johari's window model to show how the different versions of ourselves interact. Yes, there are multiple versions of ourselves. These versions aren't just how we perceive ourselves, but how other people perceive us. An article titled Self-Awareness describes it as a diagram that shows how the interactions that we have with people affect our intrapersonal and interpersonal relationships. For instance, if we believe ourselves to be insecure, we will act insecure, and everybody else will perceive us as such. If we believe that we are confident, then we will act confident, and everybody will believe that we are. So by taking the time to better ourselves interpersonally, we actually better our relationships and interactions with others, as seen in the video titled 360 Feedback Number 4. After examining and understanding how we see ourselves, we can understand the ripple effect that self-awareness has and how it affects our interactions and patterns of behavior. To sum it up, self-consciousness is the foundation of our intrapersonal relationships. Intrapersonal relationships are how we communicate with and see ourselves. This version of ourselves affects other people, and by bettering ourselves, we better our relationships with those other people. It also makes us better at communicating intrapersonally. It's just a giant circle. Think about it. If we put a fraction of as much time into knowing ourselves as we do our friends or loved ones, we could ultimately be a happier, healthier, better functioning version of ourselves. So go out on a walk. Find a puddle and stare at your reflection. Ask your close friends how they perceive you. Take a video of yourself talking and rewatch it. You're going to be stuck with you your whole life. Might as well get to know them.